Ballyhoo and welcome. The Passion Project continues. My name is Remedy Riot, and this is an appreciation. This is an exploration of linguistics, language, and the art of distancing, as framed by the peerless poetry of the modern day master, Elvis Costello. Today's slow drag is with Forgive Her Anything from Blood and Chocolate, Rykodisc Demon Edition, released in 1995, with a slightly longer version, a home demo, with opposing pronouns that profoundly shift the perspective of each iteration, found on the Rhino Edsel version of Mighty Like a Rose, released in 2002. The songwriting is credited to Elvis Costello's birth name. This piece, especially when compared against itself, is a masterclass in word economy, shifting perspective, vivid imagery, and the veiled cynicism and personal projection that we've all come to marvel at and adore from our beloved entertainer. Oh, the TV went off like 3-day-old milk. They shut this town down better than most. And it always was less of an idea and more of a boast. This introduction is stupendously provocative, yes, and more to the point, it sets the tone of perhaps a passive obsession and lingering betrayal. What does it mean that the TV went off? To my way of thinking, it was finally mercifully switched off, defeated after some effort to tear oneself away from it and all the bad news on the light blue screen, mimicking the dynamics of the trajectory of a tumultuous relationship. Embedded in 3-day-old milk is a notion of something neglected, eliciting a curled up tongue, a sense of repulsion, squinted eyes, and an inkling of unjustified waste. Within this lurks a thesis statement of how perhaps someone so horrible on the surface could ultimately be forgiven. It's another stellar example of Mr. Costello's linguistic word economy. Oh, you're burning in the bloom of life till you're powder in the grave, or you're pounding on the counter begging for more till you evaporate. The feverish imagery set down in this slant rhyme of grave and evaporate spans a lifetime and seems to continue with the piece's fleeting sense of passionate self destruction. The narrator uses pronouns in such a way that draws in the listener, concurrent with keeping the sentiment at arm's length. It's always a fun exercise to try to discern whether Mr. Costello's narrators are speaking to you, themselves, or someone else entirely. You'd forgive her anything when you look like you, my pretty miss. I wonder where you are tonight when this place becomes pitiless. Strictly speaking, the syntax of this chorus is grammatically correct. Yet the pragmatics of it creates a situation where the listener is asked to disregard the complicated construction of the pronouns for want of what we might consider to be understanding, at least at the visceral level. Broken down, the pronouns create an ambiguity that's difficult to reconcile. At once, there's a third party and a second party being addressed respectively in the first two lines. When you look like you, my pretty miss, seems to be a circular phrasing that doesn't exactly track with the first line, but it's so charming that it might provide a glimpse into the human psyche that is willing to skim over confusion when flattery and charm in the second line become laced with apparent candor. Then the conversational tone of the first two lines dissolve with the interrogative, I wonder where you are tonight, enhancing the sense of longing just before it justifies this morass with what I'd like to assume is where the pounding on the counter had taken place in the intro, seemingly a place where liquid courage oftentimes turns to babbling. Interestingly, this chorus that lives in a complicated shadow seems to have had the ability to generate much more consideration than the seemingly more syntactically sound home demo version, where the second line, if you could win back her tender kiss, is far too confessional and vulnerable for the sentiment I believe it is conveying. Oh, she offered it all, but forgot to say when. Oh, this won't hurt a bit. This won't hurt again. When the roof comes down and the walls move in. The inherent semantic field of deterioration in this piece is sublime. The burning and pounding that has already taken place now leads to a failed promise times two that immediately proves itself to be wishful thinking. When the topic is love, we're fairly certain that it will hurt more than a bit, and it will hurt again. Oh, the lies we tell ourselves and others. The figurative collapse of the world around you is another great example of Mr. Costello's word economy. As with the 3-day old milk, the imagery of structural collapse becomes nearly tangible. Oh, I didn't know it could feel like that when your face turned away and the day turned black. And the rain fell like a curtain. Oh, it's my time to begin to forgive her anything. The syntactic and pragmatic conflict continues in this verse that plays with pronouns and also includes destruction. Having protected himself with distancing language via the clever use of pronouns, now threatens to crumble as the narrator slips into the first person. Beginning the first line of this verse with I, however, is quickly sidestepped by feel like that rather than the more intimate feel like this. The second line might still be referring to the narrator himself, yet now at a more comfortable distance. Comfortable enough, perhaps, to finally admit that it's his turn not to forgive her, but to begin to forgive, which is a much more difficult feat. The use of this one little action verb, begin, continues to aid in the hedging, the distancing, the self preservation. You'd forgive her anything if you knew what I know. You'd forgive her anything. Say, where did all my pride go? The submission to less distancing language leads exactly where one might imagine it would. Self revelation that turns into self deprecation, asking where the pride went. What a cutting image. If you knew what I know, could be a boast, as hinted at in the first verse, or a surrender, or both, I suppose. It's the poetry of the abstract, the narrator's choice to leave the details to our imaginations. It's just another example of what sets Mr. Costello apart from mere mortals. You'd forgive her anything if you knew what I have known. I've been given and forgotten more than you will ever know. This last verse, this masterful verse, threatens to recontextualize the entire piece. Although still in the subjunctive using the hypothetical if, it's no longer what I know. And now it's what I have known. A small distinction, perhaps, but it feels more expansive. It serves as an excellent launch pad for the next line that is built on the present perfect construction of I've been given and forgotten. Then the ending line is the simple future tense. As with the full lifetime captured in the first verse, this ending verse captures time in so many of its tricky grammatical iterations. Just in general, I've been given and forgotten more than you will ever know, is a true statement of the modern day master Elvis Costello. As the final exclamation point in this piece, however, it seems to put into question whether forgiveness is actually possible.
Dig it.
Again, this has been a slow drag with Forgive Her Anything from the 1995 version of Blood and Chocolate. All the contradictions, allusions, and references to destruction have made this piece a joy to do a sexy slow drag with. The pronouns alone are worth the price of admission. The incredible word economy serves as a poetic reminder how words are important and trivial all at once, both distancing and intimate, with the ability to confound and enthrall. And who does that better than Mr. Costello? No one. Other gems from Blood and Chocolate you'll enjoy a slow drag with are episode 1, just like the place where they take your spine. That's a slow drag with Poor Napoleon. Episode 25, Tough and Transparent. It's a slow drag with Crimes of Paris. Episode 51, Blue Becomes You. A slow drag with Blue Chair. Episode 67, Like a Matador. That's a slow drag with I Hope You're Happy Now. Episode 90, This Velvet Line Purgatory. A slow drag with Next Time Round. And episode 112, I Wouldn't Sneak a Look. That's a slow drag with Honey, Are You Straight or Are You Blind? And that's it for today's slow drag, my fellow Elvis Costello aficionado. Thank you for listening. I'll be back soon with another slow drag. So, until next time, adieu, my little ballyhoo. Slow drag with